welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a review on the Makeup Revolution London Super Dewy Skin Tint, and then they also have a Super Dewy Perfecting Puder Primer. So they got a couple other things in this kind of line of super dewiness, but I only picked up these two, so I'm gonna kind of go through and show a try on so that you guys can see what my skin looks like before and after, and you know, here's what it looks like after the makeup and everything. But I'm going to wear it all day. I'm gonna come back at the end of the day, show you guys how it worn, and then also my final thoughts. So that is the basis of this video. But I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about the products. So this one right here, this is the Putty Primer, and it's got really cool, I'm not one for packaging. Like, packaging to me is hit or miss. I do like the cutesy stuff or whatever, but what's kind of cool about this it looks like dewy raindrop, and it's actually textured. I don't know, it's a little things, it's just different. But when you open it up, it does have this little scraper thing to kind of scrape out the product. So the packaging is good there. So what it says about this product is it's supposed to be a super easy beauty hack of creating a no makeup look with a dewy finish. It's supposed to be their fresh take on the best-selling Conceal and Fix Pore Perfecting Primer. It is a hydrating priming balm that is injected with hyaluronic acid, and what it's supposed to do is create a poreless, smooth skin canvas. So that is that one. It does only come in one color because obviously it's supposed to work on every skin tone, and it retails for $12 at Ulta. So the next one is the Skin Tint. This is their tinted moisturizer. There are 8 different color options. I got mine in the color Light. This also retails for $12 at Ulta, which is pretty, I mean, you get a pretty decent amount for $12, so super happy with that. As far as the thing, it has a pumping mechanism like this. Super easy to, not that you would ever travel with this because you can't get it on a plane with this, but if you had this in your check bag, I think you can. But even if you were traveling by car, it's super easy packaging, it's plastic, that sort of thing. I don't know why I talk about travel, because not many people are traveling, but one day. I went to Vegas, I'm happy. I'm like, hopefully things keep opening up and I can continue to travel. So anyways, this is supposed to be their Makeup Revolution's first lightweight true to skin formula. It's a blend of makeup and skincare. It's supposed to blur imperfections and even skin tone, and it's supposed to leave a sheer hint of color. It's enriched with antioxidants, wild berry extract, and it's fused with 68% water. It's supposed to give you a dewy makeup finish with long-lasting hydration, and it's claims to be your skin but better. So like I said, I'm going to kind of take you through a before and after kind of try on, and then at the end I will have my final thoughts, so stay tuned. So let's go ahead and get into it. I've got the balm here and the tinted moisturizer here. So I have done my regular skincare, the same skincare that I do all the time. And the reason for that is I would hate to try a new product when I'm doing these kind of videos and then not sure, you know, like I want it to be consistent so I can really give these things a try. So did everything the normal way. The only thing that I'm gonna do differently, I did get some Botox yesterday and it hurt right there. So I am just going to go in and color correct it. So that is literally it. But what I wanted to first do is go ahead and put on the Beauty Balm. So this is the primer. Now it doesn't give any instructions. I didn't even look on Ulta's website to see if it has any instructions, but it does give you this little doohickey thing where you can get it out. I obviously, I think I put on way too much over this past couple days that I've been trying it out because it didn't work very well. So I'm gonna go in with just a little bit and see how it works. Again, I'm not really sure how much I'm gonna put it on. So I'm just gonna go in, I don't know, I tried it with my fingers and with a brush, just kind of blending it in, and I found like the brush worked a little bit better. So this is the Jaclyn Hill, the Morphe by Jaclyn Hill JH03 brush. So this was not my favorite foundation brush because it's just really big, but I figured it actually works really well for this. So that is what I'm using it for. So you can see here, it does kind of leave a little bit of a white cast on your skin, but it's not horrible. but I don't want to use too much because then you can really build up. That's the first time I used it. I was like, whoa, what the heck? So a little bit does go a long way, and you don't want to go crazy with it. I'm gonna put a little bit more around my nose because that's where I'm the most dry. So you can see here, like it's not really going into my skin as much. Like it's just kind of sitting there. I don't know what that's all about. Like I am very dry, but it just is kind of like not, it's melding everywhere else except for my chin, but that's fine. I'm gonna put a little bit more here because that's supposed to like blur out and everything. So, and I just kind of lightly, almost like tap drag. I'm not like doing like I normally would for a foundation, but just trying to really like kind of tap it into my skin. So that is it. I obviously put still too much. It's really hard to tell, but it does have this really pretty, I wouldn't say a silicone-y feel. It definitely doesn't feel like silicone. It just feels very refreshed and, but not tacky, not super moisturized, but just very smooth. It just feels very, very smooth. But I don't feel like there's any tackiness on my skin. To be completely honest with you, it almost seems to dry semi-powdery. And that's the one thing that I'm kind of like, I don't really know if I like it. I feel like it does do a good job of kind of blurring out the skin. I wouldn't go out like this. Like I like to have a little bit more, but it does do a good job of kind of blurring the stuff out, and it doesn't feel uncomfortable on the skin, but it does have this kind of almost powdery finish, which I'm still not 100% sure if I like it or not. So this is the tinted moisturizer. So I do really, I mean, you get a ton of product. This does retail for $12. I think it's a really, really good, I mean, size. So it does have one of those little pumping mechanisms, but it's not as, I don't know, like the It Cosmetics and the e.l.f. Camo. I know this is a tinted moisturizer, so I'm not comparing them, but just that pumping mechanism, I don't feel like you can really, you kind of get a lot out. Which I'll be honest with this product, because it is a tinted moisturizer, you kind of, I mean, you need a little bit more than maybe something else, but you can't customize it or you can't kind of adjust the flow. It's just kind of boom, it's there, but not the worst thing in the world. So when I first come in, I just kind of stipple it into the skin and really just try to push it as much as I can. And then I'll go in with a Dry Techniques brush once I feel like it's kind of a little bit where I want it to be, and I will just kind of really push it in. See, this is my method that I do with everything, but I find like this one you kind of have to because it doesn't blend well with a brush as much. Like you definitely, I think with probably just using a beauty blender, it probably would be okay. That is not my preferred method. I don't like to do it that way. I like to use the brush and then kind of do this, but I think it might be a little bit better if you do. So that is kind of one layer. I'll be completely honest with you. It's not horrible, but it doesn't make my skin look pretty. Like on the camera, it's not that bad, but as I get closer, I can see like it really accentuates everything. It's not really sinking into my chin very much. Right there, you can see it's just accentuating all my dryness in my pores, which is interesting to me because it's supposed to be dewy. I don't feel like it's dewy at all. I don't feel like there's a lot of luminosity that's coming off of it or anything as I would expect. Like when something says super dewy, I expect it to be super dewy, but I don't feel like, I mean, there's a little bit of gleam, but not that much, because it is supposed to be a moisturizer, and it, like, I just expect that it would have a little bit more, maybe not tackiness, but I would feel it a little bit more on my skin, but I don't. And it's almost like the same thing with a primer. I don't know, it just doesn't like melt into the skin, I guess. And when it melts in the skin, it almost has this powdery finish. And I don't know how else to explain it. It's almost like those liquid to powder, like blushes, where it'll start out liquid and then it'll kind of turn into that powdery finish. That's kind of what this is, which is completely opposite of what I expected and what I would think when you're talking about hydration and dewiness and, you know, all that stuff. Like you would want something that's luminous and dewy and just glowy, and it's just, it's not. It is so not. I'm gonna put a little bit more on like kind of my T-zone. I say a little bit, but it's just one pump because I can't control it. I'm gonna try to like push that in a little bit more. I'm just gonna go with my beauty blender and see. I forgot to tell you guys, I got mine in, I don't even know what color. Oh, light, because I kept the sticker because it didn't say anything else. Yeah, light right there. So that is it. Definitely not the greatest. I'm gonna go ahead and wear it throughout the day, come back, let you guys see what it looks like. I'm gonna do my full shebang, everything that I normally do, and then kind of take you back. But I can tell you right now, I'm not really loving it. It's not my favorite. So stay tuned. Okay, so I'm coming back at you guys. It has been about 11 and a half hours since I've done my makeup. So I've gone grocery shopping and done all of the things. So I wanted to come back here and kind of show you guys what my makeup looks at the end of the day. So to be completely honest, I don't know, when I first initially put this foundation or the tinted moisturizer on, I don't like it. I don't feel like it really melts in my skin. I feel like it kind of has that powdery finish, like I said before. But then throughout the day, it gets a little bit better. And you can kind of see the luminosity. Like I haven't done anything and my skin is super dry, like super, super dry. So the fact that I have a little bit of glowiness, you can see my bruise there, just a little bit of the gleam is a big deal because I don't normally have that. So it definitely has a dewy coverage or a dewy finish, but it's something that kind of like builds up. It's not initial. That initial feeling you get is kind of almost a powdery, but then as you kind of wear it, it does get a little bit more dewy. But it's not a dewy for me. This is kind of almost like a natural looking dewy. Like I feel like it 100% looks like my skin. I don't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup, which I'm really not, but I feel like my skin is airbrushed. So it's not horrible. Is it my favorite? No. I've tried some other skin tints and I feel like they work a little bit better with my skin. Like there's that, not the initial, that powdery feeling. So it's not my favorite, but it's not bad. I will be completely honest with you. The primer that I used, I did not like it at all. When I used the skin tint by itself, I seemed to like the skin tint better, but again, it wasn't my favorite. But the primer just has this really weird consistency. And I think that's where the powdery feeling is coming the most, because when I used the skin tint by itself, I didn't have that initial powdery feeling. But when I use the primer, it just feels like almost like a cream to powder product, which is completely opposite than what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be hydrating and all this stuff. So definitely don't like the primer. I do feel like it really did do a good job of kind of blurring my skin out and giving it that no makeup look, but I don't feel like it was hydrating at all. So if you're somebody who maybe has normal skin, or even if you have a teenage daughter that has normal skin and is just looking for something that just kind of a little bit of a blur, or even a 20-year-old, you know, somebody who has great skin, I would say that it would be a great product. But for me, it's not a step that I necessarily felt that I needed to have. I didn't feel like the hydration was there, and it's not a product that I would just wear on my own. I definitely think the skin tint is better, but isn't my favorite. But I think this one is good if you have normal skin and you are just looking for that quick skin tint. When I look at it, it's not horrible, but I feel like it gets better as it wears and not initially. Like when I initially did it, I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to take it off. But it definitely looks a lot better as the day has gone on, which is surprising because usually it's the complete opposite. So that is the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave those down below. I can't talk. If you've tried these products before, please leave your comments below so that other viewers know whether or not it will work for them. Obviously, this is just my skin. This is my thoughts, but if you have different thoughts or the same thoughts, please let them know so that other viewers know whether or not, you know, it's a product that worked for them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, bye.